would you, if you had the power, if you had a magic wand, would you legalize drugs? And there's a follow-up question to that, which is, you know, is the war on drugs? I mean, like, they're never. I mean,
yeah. Well, let me answer the second question first, because it kind of informs the first question. The war on drugs is a failed war. It's not working. Taking the approach of it's a war, it's a battle, it's a fight, it hasn't worked. So if something, you know, it's that whole definition of insanity thing, right? It's like, we got to stop doing the same things. We got to do something different.
I think so.
We've tried, you know, other countries have tried. I know in Oregon, we've tried, maybe a little bit in California, completely legalizing drugs. And that hasn't really worked either, because I don't think that structurally and systemically we were ready for that, right? We didn't have enough resources around people who use drugs to help them to safely do that until they're ready to get to treatment. So it has to have, do I think we should legalize drugs? Maybe yes, but it has to come with those structural, systemic things to help people to get into treatment, to give them safe ways to use drugs. Hey, you can test this to see that there's fentanyl in it, right? Why don't we should be handing test strips out like candy. It should be like
great idea.
You know what I mean? Like, test everything. Tell your kids, you know, your kids are going to experiment with drugs. We all did, right?
Yep, totally.
Test what you're going to take. Don't be stupid. Don't get killed, you know? So I think that we've got to do that first before we can just go, hey, look, we're going to take the restrictor plates off. Because the one thing I would say about law enforcement, you know, a lot of times it's like, well, law enforcement is all bad and they're putting people who use drugs in jail. And that's not, you're right, it doesn't help. But one thing that can happen is it can be a point where you can interface with somebody and say, hey, we need to change your path, right? And we need to help you to get treatment. And we've had success doing that with corrections facilities. So I think we're not quite there yet, but it may be where we go.